Today we're going to be talking about fear and why fear is stupid and what you need to do about it. The main point that I want to really drill into your head with this is that you do not have enough time to spend it all being afraid. Quite simply put. Now, I've found this is very much almost a message to myself, because this has been such a huge issue for me recently. But I've found that I'll sit down, set aside 2 to 3 hours to do things like outreach and client work, and I will just not do it. I will just not do it. I will do everything under the sun that is not client work, because it's scary. Now, that fear is completely irrational, and I'll tell you why, but you've got to understand that most of the time fear is completely irrational, because fear it just comes from all manner of things. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft says that the oldest kind of fear is fear of the unknown, and this is usually what you'll encounter. It's something where you can't guarantee the outcome, and that scares you. Now, logically speaking, it makes no sense, because, for example, like people say, you know, oh, the worst thing that she can say is no if you're going to go and ask out a girl or something. And it's true, because the world is not going to end if, you know, you do something and it goes wrong. But it is a problem when you do nothing at all. I wrote a really good passage recently in Dante's Inferno where Virgil says to Dante, who's afraid of making the next jump in his journey throughout hell, and he goes, "Fame is not achieved through a bed of feathers. It's not. You have to do uncomfortable things. You have to overcome fear." Because, like I said, I have wasted hours and hours not doing something out of fear. Now, really, the way that you get over fear is you drop everything, and people will say, "Oh, don't do this. Just go ahead and just do the thing, and forget about fear." You know, all the rugged masculine. Like, shut up, man. Shut up. It's just pointless. What you want to do is you want to drop everything, and you want to go and you want to actually confront the fear, identify what it is, identify where it's coming from, and sit and fix it. If you are still anxious after sitting down and spending time with yourself, so this can be through just sitting and staring at your wall, this can be through sitting and journaling, this can maybe be, this isn't really for me, but it can be talking to another person about it. And after you are done with that, if you are still afraid after, then yes, go ahead and act anyway, because at least you've processed logically your fear to overcome it. So, and the thing is, this all happens because we as humans, emotion appeals to us first before logic. So if you're in advertising, you know that the importance of creating something like a hook that appeals to the viewer or the reader's emotions, depending on the media, and they are going to be captivated by the emotions that you evoke in them, and afterwards they're going to try and justify what you're saying with logic. And you can see this in fear, where you feel the emotion, which is the anxiety and the discomfort and the lack of willingness to do something. And what your brain's going to do after feeling that is it's going to fire off and churn out as many reasons as it possibly can as to why you should be afraid, and to try and keep this emotion in your head. Your brain will work against you here. And so it can be, for example, oh, I want to reach out to clients, and so then I'm afraid because I don't want to do it because of a fear of rejection or coming across in a certain way. So my brain's then going to go, okay, yeah, because your portfolio is not good enough, and you've not got a track record, and you're too young, and blah 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 blah. And it's going to go through this huge list of all these reasons why I should be afraid. Now, when you sit through and you go through this list of reasons and you look at it rationally, then you suddenly realize, okay, this is all just really stupid. Like, none of this makes any sense. And such is fear. Fear is 9 times out of 10 completely irrational. The only kind of instance where fear is rational is if you've got like a complete understanding of a situation at hand. So if you are thrown into a pit with a boa constrictor that is going to kill you 100%, then you are going to be afraid, because you know that snake is going to kill you. So naturally, because you've got all that information, you're afraid. But the thing is, we usually do not have all the information, and it is that fear of the unknown and not understanding what it might happen that scares us. And it is irrational, because if you sit, like, we've only got so much time. Memento mori, man. We've only got so much time. And if you sit being afraid to do something and not do it, you're not going to get anything. Straight up, like, you're not going to achieve the goals that you have if you are afraid to go ahead and do the uncomfortable thing, which is embark upon the journey and do the steps that you need to do to reach the goals. And really, just next time you're afraid to do something because it's something uncomfortable, something unusual, drill it into your head. Understand that I don't have the time, because you don't. There is only so much time. And the longer that you wait to do something, because there is a point where you have so much information, like you've spent learning how to do something, where you've got so much information, beyond that barrier is where it just becomes information overload, where intaking more information actually becomes detrimental to your progress, because you spend so much time processing new information, and then not only is that taking up the time where you could be doing something, but then that is also causing the problem of it's creating overload and clashes in your brain, where then you're thinking, oh, well, this piece of advice said do this, oh, but this source says this, and then you are so conflicted, you have decision fatigue, that then you just end up not doing anything at all. So it is beyond that point, and I can tell you for a fact I'm beyond that point now, wherein intaking more information just is usually counterproductive. And if you get to that point, and if you don't act after reaching that point, the longer you don't act, the more you are shooting yourself in the foot. Because then you are not only delaying your results, but you are making it harder to get the results that you want, and potentially lowering the chances of getting any at all. Because this is the thing, you have to act fast. You have to act at least as fast as you can. And I'm not really all for going in all guns blazing, because I think that that's just a really unintelligent approach to take. But what I will say is, once you're done in taking the information, and once you are going ahead to do something, you're confronted with the fear, and you don't want to do it, ask yourself, again, as Virgil says to Dante in Inferno, he says, why do you relish living like a coward? Because that's what you're doing. And if that doesn't appeal to your ego and your sense of pride, I don't know what will, man. Maybe you're just not cut out for this. But understand that you chose to do whatever it is that you're going ahead to do, even though it's scary. And you do not want to just live like a coward. You want to go ahead and you want to get the thing, because people are depending on you. You are depending on you. And, your future's at stake here. If that doesn't drive you to act, and obviously the fact that you are going to be forever recognizing yourself as a coward if you don't act and overcome the fear, which is inherently irrational and just stopping you from jumping to the next step, then it's going to be a very unfulfilling rest of your life. Very unfulfilling. Sometimes you gotta scoop the balls, you gotta do it. So, next time you're afraid of doing something, just think to yourself, I haven't got the time to be afraid. Because fear takes up time and it takes up energy. Is being afraid to do something, which is actually generating you absolutely nothing, because fear does nothing for you, pretty much, it doesn't. In most cases, it's completely useless. Do you want to continue wasting your time being afraid? when you've not got that much time. And the more time you spend, the worse you're making it for yourself. So just make sure you remember that, man, next time you're afraid of doing something. I'm going to keep it in mind. So we got to go ahead. We got to do the scary thing, but that's just how it is. Don't listen to the irrational, massive list of reasons why you shouldn't do something. Don't listen to it. Confront it. Understand that it is what it is. And as Seneca says, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. We are actively choosing to put ourselves through fear, and we can actively choose to remove it. So, do that. Get the fear out of your head. Go ahead. Go do what you got to do. Kill it because you can. You've got the potential. And stop being afraid. It's wasting your time. The very core part of this is it's wasting your time. So I hope you found this valuable, and I shall see you in the next one.